Spotlight TV. Spotted, enlightened.
So, Mr. Allan, what was the inspiration behind the Africa Uncensored?
Well, me and my co-founders, Qasim Mohammed and Mohammed Ali, felt very strongly that investigative journalism is a very important component, not just of journalism itself, but of our democracy and freedoms here in Africa.
Yes.
And we felt that in the environment in which we weren't able to grow, we weren't able to do what it is that we wanted to practice properly. So we decided to branch out and see whether we'd be able to grow our skill set. I wound up being the one who runs the organization for the most part, and our motto at the beginning was investigate, expose, and empower. That's the original goal, and I think I hold that very dearly. Now what we're looking at doing is showing Africa as it really is. So what we mean by that is we want to be the people who tell those stories about Africa that are not just part of the institutional record for this continent, but are really true representations of who African people are, what their stories are, what their pasts are, the present, where they're going. And it doesn't matter whether it'll be investigative, whether it'll be fiction, whether it'll be narrative, but that's our goal and that's our focus.
Yes. So how do you see Africa Uncensored, maybe let's say in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, I feel that Africa Uncensored will be a very important name in journalism and in storytelling generally, right? I think that we will grow and expand, and I don't mean that in a sense where we'll have buildings all over the place, but our impact, our influence will grow and expand across Africa. I feel that in the next 5 to 10 years, we will have new faces at the top of Africa Uncensored, people who represent the future and the thinking of the future for this continent. And I feel that by that time, we will be an entrenched and indispensable force for good in terms of fact-checking and investigative journalism. Yeah.
Do you ever feel or wish to go back to mainstream?
Well, I mean, it's like the feeling that you get when you move out of your parents' house, right? So, on the one hand, there's that nostalgia, but on the other, you're focused on building your own life, you're charting your own path. So I'm more excited about where it is that I'm going, and not just me. I'm more excited for the vision that we have and what we're trying to achieve with Africa Uncensored. I feel like there's a very, very big opportunity that we have to really, like I said, be impactful, for us to be remembered as people who raised the bar for journalism, for storytelling, even the way that we work, be raising the bar for people all over Africa and all over the world. And I hope that the foundational steps that we've taken, even if I'm not the one who's there at the end of the journey, and I certainly don't think that I will be, that the people who take over from me will be just as focused and just as visionary and as excited about the future of this continent. So that's why I'm excited for Africa Uncensored, and that's why I think, in as much as my training and some of the stories that I did that came to make me recognizable as one among many journalists who've done stuff here in Kenya, that the future is a lot brighter for Africa Uncensored. Yeah.
So young journalists like me, we really struggle maybe to identify ourselves. Like, starting a brand. You started Africa Uncensored and we are seeing it growing right now. We are seeing it in the world map. So for us young journalists, we are thinking about maybe starting a brand. And we have that fear that maybe the issue of finances, the issue of what kind of stories are we going to do, the issue of equipment. So like me, I'm starting my brand called Spotlight TV. I started publishing stories, but there's that that something like a fear that maybe I'll not grow someday. Yeah. So what would you advise someone like me or a young journalist who is trying to grow in this industry?
Consistency. You know, people forget that the day after we launched, so our official launch was February the 18th, 2016, right? And the day that we launched, we had, you know, a good number of views on like the first story that we published. People were curious about us, but after that we had 300 views, 400 views. This coming from a place where when we published stories on the Inside Story and Jichopevu on KTN, we would have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views from people online. So it does feel that sometimes when you're starting that you're alone and that you've been forgotten or that your work doesn't matter as much as you think that it does. But it's the consistency of just being able to believe that the more that you do it, the more that you do it consistently, the more that you keep to your vision, because you have your own personal vision for Spotlight TV, right? Just to keep that vision very close to you and try not to deviate. You will never have everything to start with. We didn't. We still don't. There are things that I'd wish for today, for stability, every day when I know that I know like my payroll for the next 10 years is taken care of, right? But those are things that we don't have because we operate in a context that things are tough to be able to grow these kinds of ventures, right? But I think it's that consistency, waking up even those days when you don't want to, and just do it. I think finally, as a young journalist, I think and I was just talking to Tom, who's behind the camera, about this. You know, you can have skills, you can have intellect, you can even have a quality of hard work, but if you don't have integrity, then all of that matters not, right? So, and integrity is first. You know, it's like charity begins at home. So the first sort of like debt of integrity that you have is to yourself and to your vision. You're the one who birthed that vision. You're the one who dreams. You know, I can't dream it for you and nobody can. So it's up to you to really put that in the center of what it is that you do, and be determined, be aggressive about it, be undeterred. Life will throw you all sorts of stuff, right? And even now, I can tell you, and that's why I was saying, I know that I might not be there to see where Africa Uncensored will grow to, but I have a vision for where it will be. And because I'm the one with the vision, I must make sure that whoever it is I partner with understands that this isn't just about me. It's really about what we want to do for this country, for journalists here, for storytellers all over Africa, right? I'm sure you have the same for Spotlight. Yeah?
So thank you so much. It has been a very insightful discussion, and I appreciate so much for creating your time.
Spotlight TV, spotted, enlightened.